Welcome to the second video in the kick techniques series. This video will cover roundhouse kicks, side kicks, crescent kicks and axe kicks. A few decades ago, it wasn't common to see roundhouse kicks in street fights. But with the growing popularity of martial arts, some degree of roundhouse kick ability may be found in almost anyone these days. The roundhouse kick typically packs more force than a front kick, while, unlike a back kick or a back roundhouse kick, the kicker doesn't lose sight of the target, even for a split second. As with other kick techniques, there are endless variations, but essentially, the kick comes from the back leg, which is swung around to make the strike, usually with the top of the foot or the shin. Thus, the kick has the disadvantage of being relatively easy to see coming from the twisting of the upper body. That's not always very useful because roundhouse kicks can be incredibly fast. Swinging the back leg to the front endows the kick with considerable kinetic power, and the flexing motion of the knee adds to that. It's easier to pull a muscle with this kind of kick than with a front kick when kicking cold. So make sure the body is fully warmed up before practicing. Practice the twisting motion of the upper body and the swinging motion of the leg while keeping the knee bent and not delivering an actual kick. Get to feel familiar with this action and comfortable with it before practicing actual kicks. The side kick is a kick in which the outer so-called blade of the foot, or the bottom of the foot, is used to strike an opponent, and this is combined with a sidewards bodily motion. This may or may not include a step towards the opponent, and the kick can also inherit kinetic energy from this step. It may be made either from the leading leg or the rear leg, which is swung around to the front before the kick is delivered. Although there are some similarities between a side kick and a roundhouse, there's usually a clear difference in the way the kicking leg is brought up, or chambered as they say, and this can be seen from the photos on the right. The knee is brought in towards the kicker's body before the final delivery of a side kick. On the left of the picture is a typical right high side kick delivered with the back leg, followed by a left side kick delivered with the leading leg. This second variation, kicking with the leading leg, has the advantage of giving the opponent less time to react. Unfortunately, it usually takes quite a bit of practice to perfect. It's best to get thoroughly familiar with doing side kicks delivered by the back leg before starting on practicing leading leg side kicks. These stills, taken from the same video, break down the motion of a rear leg side kick. A crescent kick or arc kick is a kick whose trajectory describes a crescent form. It may come from the front leg, and usually does, or the back leg, and it may arc from inside to outside or outside to inside. To illustrate the difference between a crescent kick and an axe or hammer kick, the above animation shows a crescent kick on the left and an axe on the right. Unlike a crescent, an axe comes down more or less in front of the kicker, perhaps only a little to one side. The point of contact will be the bottom of the foot. Essentially, a crescent kick is one in which the leg stays more or less straight, so the kinetic force does not come from flexing the lower leg, but rather from the swing of the whole leg. It has the advantage of being less prone to telegraphing than a roundhouse or a side kick, and having a large effective area to make the strike with. With an axe kick, the leg is raised similarly to an outer crescent, but rather than continuing on an arc, the leg is brought down forcefully from the highest point and comes down straight like a hammer or an axe. There may be some flexing of the knee as the leg is raised, or just before striking to give it added force, but essentially the leg stays straight. On the left of the picture is a demonstration of an axe kick, and the photos on the right show the kick's trajectory. I would recommend becoming thoroughly familiar with crescent kicks before starting to practice axe kicks.